Hello there. Welcome to the 84th episode of Split Focus, a film and TV podcast. My name is Simon Eady, and alongside me, I have my co-host and the Boba Fett forgetter, Adrian Enter. How does it go, sir?
General Kenobi. It goes quite well, Simon Menace Eady.
Whoa,
gotcha.
That's not nice.
How are you?
Well, I was okay, and now I'm not as much because you just, kind of disrespected me right there. So,
Yep.
So let's get on with the show, I guess. I don't know what else to say.
You want me to apologize?
My feelings are hurt. No, it's fine. It's fine. You said it already. The apology won't make much difference. So I'd like to ask you, Adrian, very cordially, how was your week?
I don't like this one bit. I feel like let's just restart. If you're going to be like this for the rest of the episode, God, I'm just doing a little bit of cheeky banner to start us off.
Well, I guess you're going to find out. I guess you're going to find out, aren't you?
God.
Adrian, how was your week? I asked you.
It was all right.
Okay.
Not too much going on. I did something, though, which I'll get to when we talk about the things we watched, Simon, because this week's a special episode.
Is it because you didn't forget about Boba Fett, the book of Boba Fett?
No, I definitely forgot about that show again. I totally forgot.
Because let me tell you, I watched the book of Boba Fett and I caught up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to leave it until we got to the moment where we talk about what we've been watching, but I couldn't hold it in. I'm just so happy about this show. It's so good. I just like it so much. It's so well produced. Jon Favreau, as a creator in the Star Wars universe, is just amazing. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. He's written every episode. I think we said many episodes back, just to throw in a show correction here. I don't know how many episodes it was. I think it was the first week of the Book of Boba Fett when you had watched the first episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had said that Robert Rodriguez was the showrunner. That is not true. Not from my research. He's just an executive producer, but Jon Favreau is the creator listed in the credits, and he wrote every episode. So I would argue he is the showrunner. Mm-mm. But Robert Rodriguez did direct 2 episodes of the episodes that have aired so far. Mm-mm. But I must say, I don't know what you're holding on to. What are you waiting for? Because the truth about this Book of Boba Fett is that spoilers are galore. They're everywhere. How did you avoid it is my question. Because I got one of the spoilers and I'm like, for one of the episodes, I think it was episode 5. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to watch this show. This show's amazing. And I'm just not going to wait. I think, again, the production values are top notch. I think that, again, everything Jon Favreau has made in this Star Wars universe has been amazing. Anything Dave Filoni's been involved in has been really, really good. And they've just compiled a group of directors for this series that have just done a bang-up job. Mm. It's just, I almost want to call it a popcorn flick, but I don't think that's a good word because that sometimes can come off as a negative, as in it's maybe not plot filled, but I feel like the character development, the overall feeling of the series, it's just so enjoyable to watch. It's just so fun to watch. You get that feeling, you know what I mean? Like when you went in to see Resident Evil Battle for Raccoonville, when you saw that movie, mm-hmm. I feel like that's how you came out of the movie. You're like, oh man, that was so fun to watch. I could keep watching more mm-hmm. of that. Yeah. That might have been how you felt, but that's kind of how I feel when Star Wars is good. It's just so imaginative and so interesting, and I know there's been lots of criticism of it being held mostly on Tatooine and all that garbage, but because of the whole concept of the small universe syndrome. But I think that Tatooine's a huge planet, and I think there's a lot to be told in every one of these planets if you do it correctly. And the issue with Star Wars is not the fact that they're sticking to one area, I think, of the galaxy. I think it's in terms of setting. I really do think it's just a lack of plot in some spots. And I think like or a bad plot or too much fan service in a direction that doesn't serve the rest of the series, as it were. That's what I believe anyway. I don't know if you find that necessarily, because you were talking about how you're not looking forward to the what is that show called now? It's a spin-off of Rogue One.
With what's his name? The one dude. I know what you're talking about. I just totally forget.
I put that down and you didn't pick it up. I was hoping.
Yeah.
Then again, you started this episode with the disrespect of myself, so I feel like, we're not in sync today, but it's called Andor because it's the Cassian Andor series.
Yes. Yes.
Diego Luna. And so I'm very excited for that because I think they can go all over the galaxy. Sure, it takes place in a kind of a specific time period. We know what happens to the end of Diego Luna's Cassian Andor's career, but it doesn't really matter because there's got to be so much in the background that happened in his backstory that's got to be pretty interesting. But I digress again. But watch Book of Boba Fett if you haven't watched it. Their audience, I'd imagine that if you're a Star Wars fan, you already have, especially because of the spoilers out there. But Adrian, you should watch this. I don't know what you're waiting for. You've watched all the other Disney Plus shows.
I just keep forgetting it's out, man. I keep on forgetting it's out.
I can't. People talking about it around me, so it's catching my attention. The other thing I should mention, and this is the other thing that we've talked about many times, is that this week-on-week concept of releasing episodes 1 week after the next. I hate it. I hate it even more now because I'm realizing that the reason why that this is happening, these spoilers are being released into the wild and on Twitter, etc., is because people are assuming that if you're a fan, you would have already watched these episodes, even though you may not have enough time. You don't assume that with a show like Ozark, as an example, that launches 7 episodes, the 7-episode chunk of season 4 all at once. That didn't happen with Ozark. Nope, I didn't see any spoilers. Maybe you did on social media. But the reason why that is because of the fact that it was released all at once. Because people aren't assuming that you would have watched 7 hours of content all at once, and so therefore they're not spoiling it on social media. There's a weird assumption there. Even Disney makes that assumption themselves with their own trailers for their own shows, and they release like little snippets of the previous episode. And I think I caught a snippet. They spoiled it for me, which is it was so interesting because it's the opposite of what you would think you would want if you were creating content that you would want to spoil it. I think that would be the opposite of what you would think you do to market a show. But anyway, so it's like it became, I guess it was useful because it created a sense of urgency for me, and I went back in and watched it. I think on a perspective of marketing, week on week TV series are popular for marketing and making people try to stick around and come back to see the show and all that stuff. And it makes the streaming service more popular because you can spread it out over 7 weeks, etc.
Well, yeah, not only that, it keeps the conversation going for that long, right? So you'll have people that didn't, jump into it during its launch, and you have this, dedicated group of fans that, I don't know, let's use Netflix as an example. Like everyone watched the new season of Ozark, right? I haven't yet, but like hypothetically speaking, everyone watches it. They watch it right away. You tell your friends, oh yeah, you should definitely watch the show. If they don't watch it, then a couple of weeks pass. Maybe you already forgot that Ozark finished. You've already moved on to the next thing. Whereas with a week-on-week release, you're talking about it every single week. And you might be surrounded by people that haven't watched it yet. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to get around to it. And after the 5th week of hearing you talk about it, they're just like, okay, fine, fuck it, I'll jump in. Which is kind of what happened to you, to be fair. Not exactly, but, you saw that little ad for it. And it's the 5th week or whatever. And you decided to jump in.
It spoiled the show.
So, yeah,
it spoiled the show. That could have easily gone the other way for me, but I think because, I'm interested in film and TV, I think that maybe that's why I was less interested. I've talked to a lot of people over the years that, I'll talk about a show like Breaking Bad, and they're like, oh, I never got around to watching season 4 because it got spoiled for me. I never finished the show. I'm like, well, why does that matter? For me, that's the opposite, but I feel like for other people that might piss them off and they just may not come back. So I don't know. I guess it's a difference of opinion, I suppose. But my point is, on a business perspective, week on week for Lost, week on week for releases for the Book of Boba Fett or for Hawkeye, very useful. But on a perspective of watching it, enjoying it, man, I was watching it pretty much 2 episodes each day. I watched them kind of back to back to back. But I left a little bit of a space between the episodes. Man, it was satisfying. I was surprised how, I wonder if I'd watched it week on week, if I would have enjoyed it as much. I think that I might have just really, really loved it even more because I knew that when I came home from work the next day, I was like, oh man, I'm so excited to see what happens next in this story because it was so fresh in my mind. I just think that, again, the week is too long. Like, it's antiquated. We're going back to cable. Make it day by day. Maybe make a full week, the Boba Fett week. That would be so awesome. If they had enough content to spread it out, it would be so much better. Man, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just keep skipping a day. I think that would, play around with the release schedules. Let's not go back to that traditional method. That's my 2 cents, because I think having it fresh in my mind, it was something. I must say, I was very pleased with it, considering, I mean, it's in some ways, it's still a Jon Favreau Star Wars show, so it's going off of his style from The Mandalorian and going into the Book of Boba Fett. So I was used to The Mandalorian, but I almost feel like I like the Book of Boba Fett better. But I think that it's just because of the way I watched it. I don't know if that's true, although it is amazing. And the music, by the way, is amazing. And that's another correction to mention. The score is not by Ludwig Göransson. You'd said that it was when I asked you, again, that first episode there. It's actually by Joseph Shirley, who's the composer for the series. Ludwig Göransson did do the main theme, though, and Joseph Shirley worked with Göransson on previous projects. I think it was Tenet. He worked on it with Göransson. But anyways, the music is unbelievable, and the main theme is unreal. And it was stuck in my head for each day of this week since I started kind of catching up. So, man, what a great show! I can't stress enough. But anyway,
that's good, man. Yeah, I'll get around to it. I'm not in a rush. Like, if you get spoiled, whatever, who cares? But
yeah, that's fair. I don't have that perspective because I really I don't know, that universe is pretty awesome. Those moments, like if I had the moment at the end of The Mandalorian season 2 spoiled for me, I kind of would have been pretty disappointed, I think. But
yeah, it's nice having that surprise, but I don't know. Like I feel over time I've been less and less invested in Star Wars, especially after Rise of Skywalker. It just left such a sour taste in my mouth. And we've already talked about this before. I know this is different; it's separate, different creators, but I don't know. Like I'm not like, I still love Star Wars. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not like foaming out the mouth to get the newest piece of Star Wars content. So.
Hold on. For what content are you foaming at the mouth for? I think you might want to get that checked out.
For Jurassic World Dominion. That's what I'm foaming out the mouth for.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
You gotta take it easy.
I have rabies.
Take it easy out there. But speaking of Star Wars, Adrian, I know that based on what you just said, you might not want to talk about Star Wars anymore based on your disdain for the Star Wars universe. But the Kenobi series, it was leaked out by a Disney executive on Twitter that for some weird accidental tweet type situation, that the Kenobi series with Ewan McGregor is potentially coming out in May.
Wow.
It's a weird situation because he deleted the tweet after he sent it, but he sent it as if Disney had already made the announcement, it looked like. It was very unusual. But that would be cool if that comes out in May, because I'm kind of more hyped up for the Star Wars universe just based on the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
but
there's 2 more episodes of Book of Boba Fett left? Question mark?
One more.
So
last episode is on Wednesday. I was hoping to catch up before that finale because I thought if anything is going to get spoiled for me, it's going to be that finale for sure.
Maybe I'll catch it before that finale. But, that leaves what? I guess 2 months, 3 months without any sort of main content on Disney Plus until that Kenobi series comes out, which is a little bit unfortunate. It seems like a little bit of a lull there. But I saw that. It
isn't a lull. I mean, Moon Knight comes out in March.
Oh, is that March? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yes, sir. March 30th.
So, I mean, it's still, I guess, a month and a half lull there. But, I don't know. This Kenobi series, I'm definitely intrigued by this one. This is like a piece of Star Wars content I do want to consume. I'm very excited for this. Again, I think Ewan McGregor is one of the best parts, if not the best part, in that prequel trilogy. And I just really like Obi-Wan as a character. Yeah, we know his journey and stuff like that, but there's so much time in between, Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope that we don't really know what he got up to. And I'm very excited for them to kind of explore this, time period with this character. And, having Hayden Christensen come back is really cool. And, I'm sure we'll see some crossovers and stuff like that possibly. I don't know for a fact, but I don't know. This is one that I probably will not forget about week to week. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of more invested in the creators creating things, less so in maybe the actors involved. That's maybe the reason why I'm a little bit more wary of the Andor series, because it was some kind of weird showrunner situation with Tony Gilroy not being on set when the show was being made and some weird thing. So I'm a little worried about that one. I don't know about Kenobi because I don't know enough about Deborah Chow's work. I know she did a great direction for one of the episodes of The Mandalorian season 1, which was fantastic. But I just wonder, about which way it might go. Did they assemble a great team of writers? Are they going to pull it through? Because anything Star Wars, based on the Rise of Skywalker, did they plan ahead enough to create something truly amazing? That's what that's the only thing I'm kind of more worried about more and more. But I kind of feel like anything Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni's involved in, probably going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Just because their track record has been like, again, spotless. Jon Favreau is part of like some of the greatest franchises of all time. And he kind of like, I don't know, he brought them to the prestige that they could be at. Like with Iron Man, he started the MCU with a rocky Star Wars kind of Disney situation. The Mandalorian kind of brought them out of that rockiness in a large way. I don't know. I mean, we love The Last Jedi, and I really do like Force Awakens and Rogue One, but there's some that don't love certain movies in this series that Disney has brought to the table. And I like a lot of what they made. It really just Rise of Skywalker is what I hate, but I feel like most people like The Mandalorian and most people like Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious. I hope Deborah Chow does a fantastic job.
Me too.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like on the topic of like the MCU, Jon Favreau and all that stuff, Simon, did you hear about another director coming out and talking smack about the MCU just before their new movie comes out? ?
I did, because Jimmy sent me a message that you sent him talking about Roland Emmerich, the director of Moonfall and various other disaster movies like 2012 and
The Day After Tomorrow. Yeah. This
Jinx.
You owe me a relationship and 2 kids. Anyways.
I don't owe you anything. You owe me a relationship and 2 kids if you want to go there.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Sorry, where's that from?
That's a Vine.
Oh.
From back in the day. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I always forget that you make Vine references.
Yeah, it dates me a bit, but Vine, great service. Love that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I find this one's the most flabbergasting like comment I've seen. Like Roland Emmerich literally makes blockbuster and popcorn flicks.
Right.
And he's like talking smack about the MCU kind of not being
substance filled.
Yes. And I'm like, dude, all you do is make movies about the Earth ending. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's not for me. I'm not going to do anything with that. I'll never do anything in the MCU. It's maybe because they'll never hire you for the MCU.
Yeah. It's like,
I don't know.
You have like, prestige directors like Martin Scorsese and like, Denis Villeneuve, talking smack about the MCU, and you kind of look at them like, they make like cinema. They make like proper high quality, like amazing, like movies, not really blockbusters, I would say. And, you can almost be like, okay, I guess I see where you guys are coming from, that these are whatever amusement park flicks and stuff. But Roland Emmerich just talking smack about it, to me, it makes absolutely no sense. And I don't think his movies are even like universally loved, as far as I'm aware. Like I know a lot of them are, liked enough, but I don't think they're reviewed particularly well, most of them, and all of that sort of stuff. Unlike, Denis Villeneuve's track record.
I don't know if you looked at his like Rotten Tomatoes track record, but his highest rated movie is 68% for Independence Day.
Oh, he's one off.
And if you look through it, there's only like 2 fresh movies, and it's not certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. And with that being said, we don't religiously follow Rotten Tomatoes, although we reference it many times on Split Focus, a Film and TV podcast. Rotten Tomatoes can be pretty inaccurate a lot of the time, and people love some of these movies. Like I feel like people love, well, Independence Day, obviously, but
I like the Day After Tomorrow with Jake Gyllenhaal. Like I like that movie.
Let's play guess what score it has on Rotten Tomatoes. Adrian, do you know what score it has?
I don't. I'm gonna guess.
Critics reviewed it at
38.
Wrong. 45%.
I was close by 7.
I don't know if you ever watched the movie 2012.
No.
Okay. Well, you can take a guess, I guess.
22.
39%.
Oh, close.
I don't know if you've ever watched the movie White House Down with Channing Tatum.
No. 28.
You've seen that though, right? You've seen that?
I know of the movie. I've never watched it though.
Yeah, not seen it, but you've seen.
I've seen of it.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx, Channing Tatum. Not 28. It's 52%.
Oh.
A lot of these though, in terms of audience score, they're not actually that bad. They're hovering around like pretty high scores. Like the movie Midway, which is like a kind of a fighter plane movie. It's like a dog fighting movie.
Mm-hmm.
Takes place in World War II. That movie also a 42% for critics score, but 92% audience score, which is pretty high, honestly. Yeah. That's a huge discrepancy. Anyway, I digress. Point is, Roland Emmerich does not exactly make like incredible substance-based films. So that was a very weird quote. You didn't read. Sorry, do you have the quote?
No. Let me find it.
So you came especially prepared. Guy starts off disrespecting Simon, doesn't bring his quote properly.
Because you don't fucking deserve the respect, okay? God. Roland Emmerich, Marvel and Star Wars are ruining our industry. Blah, 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 blah.
Sorry, is that you reading the quote?
Blah. Oh, yes. Emmerich tells Den of Geek when asked if the disaster genre has changed in recent years. Because naturally, Marvel and DC Comics and Star Wars have pretty much taken over. It's ruining our industry a little bit because nobody does anything original anymore, says the guy that makes the world-ending movies over and over again. Interesting.
I see. I don't hate Roland Emmerich movies, just to be clear. I don't mean to disrespect Roland Emmerich's movies. That's all good. He's all good. Just don't disrespect other people's movies. That's all I'm asking. These creators making these Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, they put love and care into a lot of them. Some of them are bad. Some of them aren't good. Some of your disaster movies aren't good too. Just, take it easy, bro.
I'm going to put it out there. I want to watch Moonfall, Simon. But alas, we can't actually watch Moonfall because they just decided to skip a Canada release.
Why? Actually, that doesn't even make any sense. We just opened up pretty widely here, relatively.
I know. I don't understand why. They're just straight up skipping Canada release. There's no like premium rental option. It's not in any theaters.
Weird.
So I don't know why they made that choice, but yeah. So I can't even watch Roland Emmerich's Moonfall because honestly, it looks like a fun movie. It looks like something I would enjoy.
Yeah, that's fair. Another movie that's rated very highly in the audience department, but not so highly in the critics department.
Yeah, it's a 40% critics and 68% audience.
Yes, indeed. Okay, okie dokie. Let's reach into the mailbag for a moment here, shall we, Adrian? We ask our listeners to write into us with comments, questions, and corrections by way of Twitter or by email to splitfocuspodcast@gmail.com. And Kenneth Stadelbauer wrote into us once again, and he said, gentle beings. Who, me?
I guess. I mean, like, who else? It's just us.
Yeah, I guess so.
Is there someone else on this?
No. Well, there's, of course, Jimmy. Of course. Can't forget about Jimmy. Anyways, he continued.
Hi, Ken.
After that one word. I'd like to chime in about the best Christmas or winter holiday movies that weren't given enough love last podcast episode. All three Grinch flicks, but especially the 2000 Ron Howard, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, with Rick Baker designing the titular character, played by some Canadian guy.
I believe that Canadian guy, stay with me, Timothy Carey.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say somebody random.
No.
It wasn't Jim Carrey.
No.
I was kind of waiting for you to do that. But anyway, he continued, A Christmas Carol is another one. The 1951 starring Alistair Sim and the 1992 Muppet version starring Michael Caine. An honorable mention also goes to the 1988 Bill Murray movie Scrooged, but it really doesn't hold up to time like the other two. Edward Scissorhands is another one. While the 1990 classic isn't about Christmas, it is set around the time and the snow and ice are part of the tone of the movie, especially the ending. And The Nightmare Before Christmas. In 1993, it was a great Christmas movie for those of us who really didn't want to let go of Halloween. It is actually producer Tim Burton's third Christmas movie, 1992's Batman Returns being his second. And of course, it's signed here by Kenneth, and he's got his own little small quote here for something that he said, I think. And he wrote, confirmed not real, but not done with green scream. I'm an illusion done with really tubby mirrors.
Oh.
Yes. He's making fun of the fact that last episode I said green squeam
yeah, you did.
by accident instead of green screen. Anyway.
So embarrassing, dude.
Yeah. Thanks, Ken.
Do you know that The Nightmare Before Christmas isn't actually directed by Tim Burton? He just did the story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hence the fact that he said it's actually producer Tim Burton's third Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Well stated by Kenneth. Anyway, he had a quote here from some celebrity to end his letter, and it says, quote, look, I don't want to make waves, but this whole Christmas season is stupid, unquote. And this is a quote by the Grinch, who was played by Jim Carrey.
Wow.
I know, crazy. Yeah. Adrian, I think he's shaming us a little bit. I think he's like, you guys didn't even mention half the Christmas movies that are good, so you suck.
Well, it wasn't a list of hey, let's list every Christmas movie we like. It was your favorite, okay?
I did fail though, because I did mention like 4 Christmas movies.
You did.
I didn't answer your question properly last episode, Adrian. So it's kind of my fault. I welcomed this criticism from Ken. So well played, Ken. Well played. Until next time. And thanks for writing into us week on week.
I love you.
Most reliable writer-inner I've ever met. Mm-hmm. All right, Adrian.
All right, Simon.
I've talked a lot about what I've watched this week. I've got a couple other things that I've watched, but before we get there, I think you're burning inside to share with me what you watched this week. So I invite you to tell me, what did you watch this week, Adrian?
Simon, it's another week, another 5-movie marathon, baby.
Oh,
last time I did this, Simon, I watched an entire franchise of movies. And that franchise was The Purge. Sure, fun movies. I like those movies. You know what I mean? I was like, you know what? These movies, not too bad. Some of them not so good, but a couple of them, I was like, these are really good, actually, unironically. Now,
yes,
Simon.
Yes,
there's another movie that came out into theaters called Scream. 20, yeah, just like that. Scream 2022 version. It's not Scream 5, but it's the 5th Scream movie. It's just called Scream. You know what I'm saying?
I see. Yes.
And
now I understand.
I was like, you know what? This trailer looks fun. I've never watched any of these Scream movies. You know, I know of Ghostface. You know, the slasher serial killer man. But I don't really know what these movies are about. I just assumed like it's just like another movie where this guy goes around killing a bunch of people. And to my surprise, Simon, it kind of is like that. But it's also layered a lot more. So I watched all 5 Scream movies. I watched Scream,
like an onion,
the 1996 movie. I watched Scream 2, the 1997 movie. I watched Scream 3, which was the 2000 movie, maybe 2001. I think it was 2000. I watched Screeform, which was a 2011 movie. And then actually today, as the day we are recording this, I watched Scream 2022 version.
You went to the theaters and watched Scream?
Yeah, I did.
Were you off today?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I decided to go.
Off on a Saturday.
I know it's a Saturday.
It's rare.
I had it off today, Simon. And I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the matinee. I'm going to do a matinee. It's, 12:30 at the cinemas in Kitchener, Ontario. And I was like, I'm going to go. There's only one other dude in the theater. We both went solo. Both had a good time. Didn't acknowledge each other's existence. Great time. I love going to the movies. I really like
that guy. He sat right next to you.
No,
he coincidentally chose the seat right next to you.
That'd be crazy. No, due to
just coughing the whole time.
Ontario health and safety guidelines, he's not allowed to, or Cineplex's rules. I don't know, but they block off the seats next to you. But he could have. And I was kind of half expecting him to put on that ghost face mask and try to kill me, but alas, it didn't happen. Unfortunately,
was he behind you?
He was behind me.
Ooh, that's scary.
Yeah, a little bit scary, Simon. Just like these movies are. But anyways, these Scream movies, really, really good movies. And again, to my surprise, they're a lot more layered than I thought they were. So, Scream 1996, I guess, was like this renaissance, like a movie that brought back the original slasher movies. The slasher movies like Halloween, like with Michael Myers. Friday the 13th with Jason Voorhees, and Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger, and Scream 1996 was, I guess, that movie that brought slashers back into the fray. It reignited the passion for these movies, with being a little bit more, I would say. I don't want to necessarily say creative, but different, while still kind of honoring like its original sort of inspirations. And how Scream, the original one, how it starts off, it's Drew Barrymore, as we all know, and she's in a house on her own and receives a phone call, and there's a guy on the other end. But to my surprise, this guy, he starts asking her like movie trivia stuff. He's just like, oh, like, what's your favorite movie? Like, who's the main character in this movie? And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, this serial killer is not only a serial killer, like a slasher, but he actually has character. He's not very, like, he's not one dimensional like a Michael Myers or a Jason Voorhees. He's a little bit more talkative and character, like kind of like we get with like Freddy Krueger as an example. But he's just a regular dude calling in and asking about movies. And I was like, damn, this is really up my alley. I quite like this already. And it starts progresses from there. And these movies, are very ultra violent and stuff like that, and very bloody, very gory. The film series really just revolves around, I would say, like 3 main characters that show up in all 5 of these movies, and it's the main character Sidney Prescott, who is played by Neve Campbell, Dewey Riley, who is played by David Arquette, and Gail Weathers, who is played by Courtney Cox. Yeah, Courtney Cox. And they're the 3, I guess I would say, constants in these movies. And pretty much every movie, a killer shows up, or killers, and start ravaging the town. And it's just like typical sort of slasher stuff. They add a bunch of characters in every movie, and most of them end up getting murdered in very brutal and creative ways, with a killer on the loose. And the big twist of this of the first movie, as an example, is that there are actually 2 killers, and this kind of progresses in all 5 of these movies. I know I'm kind of spoiling a movie that came out in 1996, but hey, it came out 26 years ago. And that kind of progresses, again, in these next like 4 movies, that there's, maybe 2 killers in every single one, which again adds this like extra layer to it. But what I really like about these movies as well is that this Ghostface killer, or killers, they aren't like these unstoppable powerhouses like you get with, like a Jason Voorhees or a Michael Myers, where it's like no one can stop them. They're almost like supernatural. Like, they get like shot like a billion times and they stand up, they get shot in the face, they're fine, whatever else. Like these people, like tend to get into like almost like fist fights with like the people that they're trying to kill. The people that they're trying to kill are like throwing chairs at them. They're falling over. They're tripping. They don't look like, they're trained killers, which I really like. And it adds almost like a layer of comedy throughout all of these movies. And what I really like about these movies as well is that honestly, these are just kind of meta horror movie like commentary. And they do that with every single one. With the original, they continuously reference like the original Halloween movie, and like Freddy Krueger, the Nightmare on Elm Street movie and stuff like that. And as the movies progress in this universe, they create movies called Stab that recreate the events that happened in the movie before it. So it becomes like even more layered sort of meta commentary, and they start commenting on quite literally like
an onion,
the movie that came before it, but they're referencing it as the movie that's in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it does like a lot of fun stuff. And I was really into this. I decided to watch, the first 3 movies, Scream 1, 2, and 3 are on Crave TV here in Canada, and then Screeform is on Amazon Prime Video here in Canada.
I'm sorry, Screeform?
Screeform, yeah. It's SCRE4M. That's how they spell it.
Yeah, I know. The audience can't see the writing, so I'm trying to pretend that I don't understand so that they can understand what nonsense you're spewing here.
Yeah, so it's Screeform.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. And
thank you for the explanation.
Yeah, no worries, man. That's what I'm here for. And again, with every movie, the meta commentary, they up the ante every single time. They up the ante with violence every single time. There's like so many like notable actors that are like spread out through these movies. Like Timothy Olyphant is in some of the movies. They have. Like Alison Brie is in like the 2011 movie. The list goes on with a bunch of like notable actors. With the most recent one, they have like Jack Quaid, who's probably best known for his role in The Boys and stuff like that. And honestly, as a whole, this all 5 movies I think are genuinely great watches. They don't. I don't think any of them, live up to I guess like the first one's probably, the most beloved one, and all of that sort of stuff. But I don't think they really go downhill as these movies progress. And I would argue that this 5th one, which actually wasn't directed by Wes Craven, because unfortunately Wes Craven passed away back in 2015. He did direct the other 4 movies. is honestly just as good, if not better, than like the other 4 Scream movies, with very with a lot of like love and care put into that movie, to make sure that they didn't, I guess, disrespect the 4 movies that came before it, which is kind of a running joke in that movie as well. They make sure that they mention that, we they shit on it with like the Stab 8 movie or whatever, and we're recreating this and ensuring that it's not as it's not ruined or blah 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 blah, stuff like that. They also reference like Star Wars episode 8 a bunch in the movie, and they actually talk shit about like the Star Wars sequel movies, which I found kind of funny, even though I really love The Last Jedi, but they like specifically name drop Rian Johnson for ruining Star Wars and like not caring about things that came before. And I was like, you motherfuckers. But Scream 5, it was directed by a duo, Matt Bettinelli-Alpin and Tyler Gillette, who I don't think I've seen them make anything. If they have, it's definitely not gone on my radar. But all in all, I think all 5 of these movies are awesome. I think they're all worth watching. And especially if you're into like that, like horror, sort of campy, self-aware, like slasher style movies. I can't recommend this franchise enough. And it's honestly like some of my favorite shit that I've watched in recent memory. It's just a good time. It's a good time. And if you like, like ultra violent, like gory sort of stuff, without it being like too, like, I guess, visceral, like almost too real, I think these are, well worth your time. All 5 of these.
Excellent.
And
cool.
I had a great time scream-a-thoning, Simon Eady.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had a fantastic time.
Yeah, I did. I did indeed.
I'm happy for you, deep down.
Thanks.
Thank you for those reviews. It's a lot of movies.
Yeah, 5 of them, actually.
I was more of a jack of all trades this week. I watched less of one thing and more of random nonsense. I feel like Book of Boba Fett, obviously, I mentioned. I'm not going to go over that again. I also watched Murderville. Did you not watch Murderville?
No. When did it drop? Like a couple days ago?
Thursday, I think it was. Murderville is this like a TV series starring Will Arnett, where he basically plays this detective named Terry Seattle. He's got this incredible mustache, and he gets paired up with a partner who's like a not necessarily a comedian, but it just has to be some kind of celebrity guest. And so the first episode is Conan O'Brien. I don't know why I said week, because it literally is released all at once, all 6 episodes. But anyway, first week he was paired up with Conan O'Brien. The second one was football star Marshawn Lynch. And both of them were pretty funny, honestly. It's basically a sketch show. Like, they're improvising the solving of the case, like both Will Arnett and the guest star. The rest of it's kind of scripted. So it's like this interesting mashup of both scripted and non-scripted stuff. And then the guest star has to choose who, based on the list of suspects and the clues that are presented, they have to choose basically who the killer is. So they go to this various crime scenes and try to investigate the crimes. And Will Arnett is his, the classic grovelly self. He's just like this ridiculous person that really doesn't help out with the case at all. Like, he doesn't really help out with the clues. He's just kind of incompetent. But it's truly pretty funny, I think. I mean, I'm only 2 episodes in. It's rated really quite highly on Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm kind of surprised about a little bit, because it's a pretty goofy, wacky, ridiculous show in a lot of ways. But I'm curious to see what you think of it when you end up watching it, Adrian. It's only 30 minutes per episode, so it's not much of a time sink. So my girlfriend and I have been watching it while we're eating on occasion, when we don't want to watch something that's like a 40-minute kind of episode. Because even like I'm watching After Party, but I didn't watch the After Party episode 4 this week, only because it's literally like a 40-minute show. So I just didn't have the time, based on when we're recording this and other things I was doing this week. So I just didn't watch the 4th episode. But I did watch the 3rd episode of After Party, and my goodness, man, if you watch this show and you don't like it, I'd be shocked. That's all I would say, Adrian. You will love this show. I guarantee you. At least the first 3 episodes is what I've watched. I guarantee you will like it. If I'm wrong, I'd be very surprised. But I could be. Maybe I'm hyping this too much, and then you're going to watch it and you're going to be like, nah, I don't love this. This sucks. I don't know. But Chris Miller of the,
Phil Lord and Chris Miller marriage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, of the Phil Lord Chris Miller matchup. Of the good old 21 Jump Street into the Spider-Verse. They really have a pretty amazing track record. Mm-hmm. So they're very well regarded. And Chris Miller directed all of the episodes of this, and he wrote some of the episodes. And it's a very star-studded cast, and it's awesome. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. I don't even have that on my list here. It came up in passing because I just remembered the third episode and thought I was like amazed at how incredible it is. It's just so interesting because it's doing each episode based on the point of view of each of these characters, because the lead detective is interviewing each of the suspects each episode, and their story is based on their point of view, so it changes so drastically. I said this last episode, but it really is worth watching. If you have Apple TV Plus, check it out. Honestly, it's great. But the last thing I watched, before we move on to the news, was the Netflix documentary, The Tindler Swindler. Sorry, excuse me, The Tindler Swindler.
You silly goose. Were you making fun of me there?
The Tindler Swindler. Anyways, it's about a man who goes by the name of Simon. Oh.
What?
Simon Leviev, who basically claims that he's this billionaire, and he swindles these women that he basically matches with on Tinder. And he just keeps going on from one woman to another woman to swindle them out of millions of dollars eventually. It's a crazy story that's obviously a true story because it's a documentary. And they're just following these accounts of these women who got swindled by this guy. And man, it's a crazy story. It's very interesting. It's very well done. And my favorite thing about this documentary, it's a problem with a lot of documentaries. Like, for instance, the new Tiger King season 2 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Tiger King season 2, the issue with that season is that it ends on this note of non-conclusivity. There's nothing to end. And it's not, there's no conclusion. Not that I want a conclusion out of every documentary. That's not what I'm saying. But I think you know what I mean. It's just, it feels so unfinished. Like there's nothing to conclude it.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I totally forgot about Tiger King season 2. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes and then stopped watching it because, again, they set up this mystery in that show that I know isn't solved. Because I feel I think we talked about this briefly. I would have heard about this mystery being solved,
right?
Because it was, it's on everyone's eyes. Everyone's paying attention to it. So it almost lost its luster for me. I didn't feel that I needed to watch it or that I even really wanted to watch it.
Right.
So the Tindler Swindler doesn't have that. In fact, I guess this is only a movie as opposed to a series, so it's a little bit more of a concise story. But this has a definitive ending, correct?
I don't know, but you can never say definitive because we're all living and there's obviously something that ends this story. I just feel I think if you're making a documentary or a docuseries, you have to know where it's going to end. You have to have this okay, what's a story from start to finish? There's got to be a climax and then some kind of a slow burn at the end. Where's the climax is the question for the Tiger King series. There just isn't anything, I don't think. For season 2, season 1, there's it was an ups and downs roller coaster the whole way through, and that's why you liked it, I argue. Mm-hmm. And so this, I feel does have some kind of an interesting conclusion. It has something to say, would be what I would say. For instance, the Jinx series. That TV series on HBO is truly fantastic. It ends in one of the most incredible ways for a true crime documentary. And it's such a worthwhile watch to watch the Jinx. Again, I think it's only 5 or 6 episodes as well. So it's not very long and not a huge time sink. This is a 2-hour movie. It's definitely worth the watch. I think that it kind of makes you mad at times because obviously watching somebody get, swindled is not my bag necessarily. I don't like seeing somebody get, lose thousands of dollars, but yeah, I think that it does a good job in its portrayal and presenting the facts and stuff like that. I do really like it. It's well directed, would be what I would say. But anyway, worth the watch. It's on Netflix now. Just launched last week.
Yeah, I definitely do want to watch Murderville. It's funny, actually. One of my buddies, Corey, literally just messaged me. "Fuck, have you watched Murderville?" Literally just got that text. So
yeah, you traditionally like sketch comedy stuff. I feel you watch more of them than I do. So I'd imagine that you will get a kick out of it. Yeah. I'm surprised it's so short. I'm hoping that the second season comes relatively soon. I hope that there's enough people that end up watching, and I'm kind of curious how it ends up doing in terms of ratings, like viewership ratings versus critics ratings. But
now,
it's interesting.
Not to like jump back to Murderville. You mentioned, I think last week or maybe the week before, that you were hoping that the show wasn't going to be as like sketch like. You want it to be a little bit more like an actual series with just like improv. What do you find that the show is like? Is it more like sketch comedy as opposed to like an actual concise story?
I think if I recall what my thoughts were back then, I think what I was trying to say was I was worried that it was going to be more like a game show.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want it to be a game show. The sketch part is fine. I just want it to have a cohesive kind of a story. Like, don't make it like, oh, and so you're going to now tell me who is the killer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want somebody to come out as an announcer, like the announcer for the show and do that. I want it to seem like an episode of like Law and Order.
Yeah.
Or like CSI kind of thing.
Which, does it feel more like that, or does it?
I would say it balances it pretty well.
Okay.
I'd say it balances it pretty well. It does do that maybe a little more than I would like because they kind of all wrap up the same way. But it's good. It's good. I don't mind the way they did it because the sketch elements too. Like it's put a lot of pressure on some of these actors. I imagine even like Marshawn Lynch, who's not an actor at all. He's a football star. It's very interesting. He was actually really good. I was like kind of surprised because I have just no perspective on him as a performer other than like football. So it's like. It's kind of cool. It was neat. The Conan O'Brien one was hilarious. There's some pretty ridiculous moments. And then at the end of every episode, they like tease the next episode. They teased the Kumail Nanjiani episode for the third episode. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this. It was so ridiculous. I think you'll know what I mean if you end up watching episode 2 and kind of watching to the end. But I like the balance. I think the balance is great. And I think Will Arnett does a great job, and I'm excited to see what they do next or how it ends.
Yeah, I'm curious what other hosts that like Will Arnett will bring on for this Murderville show. Like, I would love for him to start bringing on some of the Arrested Development alums. Like if you can get David Cross on there, Jason Bateman or Michael Cera. You know what I mean? I would love to see them. Throw in Bob Odenkirk. I'm sure he'd be down, considering he's done various sketch shows, and of course he was on Arrested Development as well at one point. Yeah,
reuniting David Cross and Bob Odenkirk.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, I had a good week. A good week of various watches. Lots of different things I watched this week. It was pretty good.
Yeah. That's good, man.
And of course, I kept up with Peacemaker, but I don't want to get into that. We'll do a spoiler cast, I think, or a closer look episode, I think, for that season. I think when it's wrapped up, I think that would be a good plan.
Yeah, I actually haven't watched this new episode of Peacemaker. I was going to watch it before we started recording, but then you sent Jimmy to message me that you were actually able to start a little bit earlier than originally thought. So I decided to wait.
You have to understand, this is all on Jimmy's schedule. It's whenever Jimmy's available, that's when we record.
It's true, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, Jimmy, by the way, is our audio-visual video technician audience here at School Focus, a Film and TV podcast. Sorry, what'd you say?
He's a big idiot as well.
No, he's not. That's not very nice. And he can hear you right now, so he can do whatever he wants to your mic. Don't insult him, okay? He's a good guy.
I'm going to.
Okay, Adrian, I think it's time to move on to the news. We've talked enough about what we watched this week, I think. Oh, you agree? Excellent. Let's begin with a small collection of more focused stories that have been particularly pertinent this week. Number one. That's too late. It's too late. No. Simmer down. Simmer.
Like some nice soup.
Number one. According to publication Variety, DJ2 Entertainment is partnering with video game developer Hazelight Studios to make a film or TV series adaptation for the action-adventure game It Takes Two. It Takes Two is a very cooperative, play-heavy game that follows two parents on the verge of divorce who are forced to work together to retain their human form after their daughter magically turns them into tiny dolls. It Takes Two recently won the 2021 Game of the Year award at the Video Game Awards last December. To speak to his excitement in regards to the upcoming adaptation, the outspoken It Takes Two creative director Joseph Fares said, quote, "Creating the world and story in It Takes Two was so much fun for me and the team. Since it has a strong narrative with many crazy characters and just as crazy co-op action moments, the potential is huge for a great adaptation to film or television," unquote. Adrian, what do you make of this? We both played It Takes Two together. Of course, not talking, because we don't talk outside this podcast, but we did play it silently. It was difficult because it's a very co-op heavy game, and talking and communicating would have been a lot easier to play it. It took us about 25 hours to finish because of that. Normally the game takes about 12.
Yes.
But we made sacrifices because we were very dedicated to our audience, and we don't talk outside this podcast to make it natural between us when we're talking. But Adrian, It Takes Two was arguably my game of the year last year as well. If it wasn't Hitman 3, just a name drop there. But I feel like It Takes Two was a truly, genuinely unique and incredible experience.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really loved It Takes Two. I think It Takes Two is probably one of my favorite games of last year as well. I had like an absolute blast playing through it, and I think the best part about that game is the variety of gameplay that you get out of that game. Like you have like these 10-minute sections where they just add in like a bunch of game mechanics that they never touch on again. And it's absolutely remarkable. I would argue that it's one of, if not the best co-op game you can play out there. And although
couch co-op or otherwise, online or couch.
Exactly. And although I do find the story itself charming, I quite enjoyed it. I don't necessarily know, like it's definitely not the best part about that game. And I just don't really I can see how it could be adapted into, I guess, like a film or a TV show. It's, about, these parents that are like with a young daughter that are, going through a divorce, or are on the brink of getting divorced, and kind of how their relationship rekindles after this time of like kind of drifting apart. And you can make a good series or movie out of that easily, for sure. But again, I think what this game did incredibly well was that gameplay, and what I really loved about it was the gameplay. Like I think the story is good enough, but I don't necessarily find.
Could you say that again? Sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
The hell? Is that you or is that me?
Is there an Australian lady in your room?
No, is that my phone?
Well, it definitely wasn't me.
I was tripping me out.
It's weird that you don't know whether it was in your rom or not. How good are your headphones? It's like real life.
Yeah. Is this real life? Yeah, that really threw me off. But yeah, again, I just don't like, I don't think, the story is, the greatest part about it. And I don't necessarily see the point of making this into like a film or a TV show. And it's kind of ironic because Joseph Fares, like he's very outspoken about like his, I guess, disdain for, I guess, the film industry. Like during the VGAs, he literally yells like "fuck the Oscars" at some point. And, really highlights that the best way, one of the greatest ways you can be creative is within the video game space as opposed to like film or TV. So I find that a little bit like ironic.
I think I don't know if he really is that. I don't know if he really hates movies or TV. I don't think that's what he was insinuating necessarily, but it's interesting that we're talking about this on a film and TV podcast. I think that's funny.
Yeah.
Because he literally did that again when he won the award for Game of the Year for It Takes Two. He stood up on stage and said, "Oh man, I got so much flack for saying fuck the Oscars." And he says it again, obviously, because to describe it, he said it, which is just so ridiculous. I thought that was such a great moment. Yeah. I loved the Game Awards last year. I thought they were really funny, and I don't know. It was good. I thought there was a lot of action in terms of games announced, which was awesome. And then of course that game won, which we both adored.
Yeah.
But I like the story of that game, to be honest. It's interesting. I do like it. I just don't. I agree with you. It's not necessarily the highlight, but I don't know what that means, though. I think that the overall package is what makes that great. The gameplay is amazing, but it's because we're stuck in this situation with a very easy story to understand, with these extremely goofy characters, like for instance, Dr. What's his name? Hakim? Mm-hmm. Dr. Hakim, the love doctor or whatever, who's like a book.
Yeah.
He's like a walking, talking book. Like, it's just so ridiculous. There's a certain ridiculous element of it. And I actually did think that the charming, ridiculous like lines from Dr. Hakim, they were kind of, the characters were annoyed with Dr. Hakim, and we were kind of annoyed with Dr. Hakim. And it's like, oh, this little shit again. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He would show up and we'd be chirping him as well. And I think that was part of the the beauty of it. And then the concept of it being almost like a Pixar movie. I think we said that after the game had ended. It's just this variety of really beautiful scenery in some spots and these crazy characters, wacky characters who just come out of the woodwork. They're basically living to become tiny dolls, and they're trying to become human again, but they're moving from place to place around their house, basically. And it's like, there's just like these ridiculous, like they go to a garden at one point, they go inside a tree trunk, and it's just so crazy that the numbers of random humanoid type animals there were, like human-like features on squirrels, etc. There was like so many ridiculous things. They just hit the nail on the head on so many, pun intended, by the way.
Whoa.
Hit the nail on the head. That's an inside baseball reference for It Takes Two. But anyway, hit the nail on the head in terms of all the gameplay and the story combined with making it simple to understand, so that when you're in co-op and chatting to each other, you completely understand what's going on. There's like, no one's asking at any point like, wait, I don't understand what happened here. It's very easy to understand. But yeah, I wondered, like, with any of these kind of video games turned into movies, do they need to do this at all? I'm kind of curious. I think The Last of Us has a lot of promise because of the creators involved, but I'm wondering about this one because the overall package is what's so amazing. As you kind of mentioned, the gameplay is amazing. The story is not alone amazing necessarily. So just making a movie out of this, does it need to happen? Can't you just game? I think it's accessible, actually. I really don't think it's that difficult for somebody to jump into. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that it's relatively easy.
I feel like if you got basic like understanding of how to use like controllers with analog sticks, and you have that down, I think it is accessible from that point. But
yeah, if it's completely foreign to you, like my dad.
Yeah, like
my dad probably couldn't wrap his head around it. But
I don't think I could hand a controller to my parents, and they definitely would not be able to play that because they just don't understand how to use two analog sticks at the same time. It's like it's muscle memory at this point for us. You know what I mean?
I know,
but it's crazy to think that like that's a skill that just some people do not have. They don't have that hand-eye coordination. I rather get an It Takes Three game or something. Like I rather get a third game than a TV series. It Takes Three to win makes sense because I feel like co-op is better. A second game, you mean?
What?
There wasn't an It Takes. You said a third game. You wanted to...
Yeah, third. Sorry, a second game. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
The first been a second game. Takes. Yeah, we never...
Yeah. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, there's no other It Takes. There's no It Takes one. You have to play co-op. That's how Joseph Fares makes his games. But yeah. I rather get, again, a sequel rather than getting a movie or TV show. And I think we questioned as well, why did they need to make an Uncharted movie necessarily? Although, again, the answer for that is what you said about The Last of Us on HBO, in that you would like to see your parents watch that to kind of get the idea of what makes The Last of Us great, which is fair. But again, the Uncharted movie, which comes out on February 18th, by the way, I'm curious about it. I really am curious. I honestly think it can go either way. I don't think it necessarily will be bad. I know there's a lot of bad, like negative hype around it, but I don't think it necessarily will be bad. We'll have to wait and find out if the story holds up in movie form. It just seems silly to make this a movie when, first of all, the game is longer, and second of all, it's literally a movie in game form. Like it's a very linear experience. Whereas The Last of Us, I can see them branching out because there's a lot of that world that you don't see. I'm not really interested, at least based on well, that's not fair. I didn't play all the Uncharted. I just played the first one. I'm kind of curious. Like, I was never interested after the first game. I'm like, that's cool. I'm like, I wasn't curious about the background characters really. They were all not necessarily one-dimensional, but I'm sure maybe the rest of the series branched out and became more 3D as you went in terms of the character development. Obviously, it's a 3D game.
Yeah. But yeah, I love Uncharted as a franchise. And I don't know, like watching the trailer for the Uncharted movie, it looks interesting enough. I just don't imagine it's going to be great. And I don't necessarily think that argument holds, like the argument I make for the Last of Us series, where I want my parents to experience the story because they'll never play that game. I guess I could say that about Uncharted, but...
Right. It's just Indiana Jones, though.
Yeah. And not only that, they're making this movie that's not telling the exact story from the games. They're picking and choosing, like
mashup.
Yeah, one of the big like plane scenes is from like Uncharted 2, I believe. But they also reference a character that's only in Uncharted 4 and things like that. It seems like they're just bringing it all in and just like picking and choosing what they want to use out of that, like those 4 games, which is a little bit annoying for me. I would rather them either just tell an original story or follow the story to a T.
Yeah, The Last of Us can be shocking at times. Like there's moments in that game that I've just never seen necessarily, or I don't know. You kind of see narratives repeated constantly throughout the film and TV and video game industry. But I feel like that's a unique experience that I had watching that narrative. That was something that shocked me in various ways. And the relationship between Ellie and Joel is fantastic. And I think, I don't know, that may be answering my own question as well. But the Uncharted game, at least the first one, it's Indiana Jones and Lara Croft. And we've seen that, and it's more fun to play maybe.
It definitely is.
I don't know. I'm sure that, because I think Uncharted 4 and 2 and 3 have a better narrative. But
yeah, Uncharted 4 especially, like I feel like they really upped that narrative. And I don't know, that like Uncharted 4 to me is like a freaking masterpiece in storytelling, as opposed to it just being almost like a action heavy, like popcorn flick. Like that, I would argue that the first one definitely is. And I would even say that, the second and third one kind of are. They do add nice story elements and stuff like that, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. It's quite interesting. Like all this like cross media stuff going on in the like video game industry, and how they're bringing a lot of this stuff to like film and TV. Like even just this week, there's like this EA franchise called like Alice Madness Returns, which is kind of like a little twist on like Alice in Wonderland sort of tale. A little bit more like dark and brutal, and I think they announced that they're making a TV series out of that video game, which is quite interesting. Funnily enough, they actually released 2 like short films to, I guess, conclude this story, because I don't think they released like another game to like finish off the story for that Alice Madness stuff. So that's not necessarily the first time they're jumping into like this cross media stuff with this franchise. So that's kind of interesting. Not super into that, but one that I'm actually quite into, I should have mentioned this when we were talking about what we watched, is that they released the Halo trailer that's being released on Paramount Plus, which is
I saw that.
Based on the video game. And god damn, this looks freaking great. As someone that isn't into Halo, like I don't even know if you've played any of the Halo games, I don't recall. Like, what did you think of the trailer?
It's funny, actually. I thought that the first trailer was better. I felt like this came off a little bit more B-movie. I don't know why. It's interesting, this second trailer. So I'm curious to see how it turns out.
Yeah.
I guess you'll have to get Paramount Plus if you want to watch it. So
yeah, I'll probably like. I don't know if they're going the week to week route with the Halo stuff. If they do it all at once, then I'm gonna be like, sweet, I'll just get a subscription, binge watch it, and then cancel my subscription. But otherwise, I'll just wait for it all to come out. But I don't know. I actually quite like this trailer. I think it looks like high budget, high quality. It looks really awesome. In terms of the story itself, it's quite interesting, because they're not going the route of like, I guess, what Uncharted's doing, where it's like, hey, we're taking all 4 of these games and then we're making like a movie, and we're just picking and choosing what we want. This seems like it's going a totally original story route, which I'm super interested in. They're keeping some of that basic lore in there, but this story that they're telling in this Paramount Plus Halo series is not something that they've ever really touched on in the video games, which actually kind of has me even more intrigued about this show. I think the voice of Master Chief is interesting. It's Master Chief, I feel like, has such a recognizable voice that, bringing in Pablo Schreiber and having him do the voice, it's a little bit jarring. It doesn't fit entirely, but I think it's something that will grow on me. They brought back, the original voice actress for Cortana, which is fantastic. Although the visual design for her is a little bit odd. It's almost like it's hitting that uncanny valley territory. They should have just made her fully blue, like hologram wise, but hey, that's them. But all in all, like this Halo trailer, I'm super into. I'm quite excited for this one.
Maybe I'm wrong, but wasn't Master Chief voiced by multiple people over the years?
No, it's the same guy in every one. What's his name? Steve Downs.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah. And I mean, Bungie was just purchased by Sony.
Yeah.
And one of the pieces of that deal was that Sony was going to potentially make Bungie, of course, being actually, funny enough, the original Halo creators in the first place for Microsoft, but they they want to make Destiny, which is their big game franchise, into movies and TV. And Sony's been doing that with their properties like Uncharted and The Last of Us. So there's a good chance, and that's part of the deal, according to sources anyway, that's going to end up happening, that Destiny is going to be turned into a movie or TV franchise as well. So that's kind of a neat thing. This is a big week for that type of situation, with video games being turned into movies, or rumors or announcements of that type of thing. So it's cool that's the case. We'll see what happens with all of this, because there's you can count them on one hand, the movies or TV shows that are good based on video games, I guess. The best probably being Arcane, honestly.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, Arcane's definitely the best one.
I picked a good one, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon
Town
City is going to literally be a better version.
It's the best movie. It's the best movie.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
No, not in a million years. But anyway, let's move on to number 2, Adrian. Number 2 is Variety reports Amazon Prime Video's animated anthology TV series The Boys Presents Diabolical is set to be an 8-episode series with different animation styles for each unique episode. In a recent trailer for the new series, Amazon dropped the names for their star-studded cast list. Actors like Awkwafina, Michael Cera, Don Cheadle, Chase Crawford, Kieran Culkin, Giancarlo Esposito, Elliot Grazer, Jason Isaacs, Kumail Nanjiani, Justin Roiland, Seth Rogen, Andy Samberg, Ben Schwartz, Elizabeth Shue, Kevin Smith, Anthony Starr, Nassim Pedrad, Simon Pegg, Kenan Thompson, Aisha Taylor, and Yoon Yoo-jung, specifically Best Supporting Actress Yoon Yoo-jung, have each been hired on as guest stars for the series. The Boys Presents Diabolical's first season will be released all at once on March 4th, 2022. Adrian, the cast announced. What are you thinking about this? Are you excited for The Boys Presents Diabolical?
I am, Simon. I'm very excited for this. I watched that trailer. And yeah, like watching the end of that trailer when they're just showing all the names that are going to be, in this show, I was like, holy shit. Like it's absolutely bananas. Like how much of a all-star cast they're bringing in for this, kind of like just like Invincible, funnily enough, which is another animated show with an absolutely unbelievable cast.
It's related to that somehow. I think the animators are related, because it said at the end of that trailer, from the wacky minds of The Boys and Invincible.
Well, that's Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, isn't it?
I don't think that's what it's referencing.
No,
but could be.
Because
they didn't animate anything, so I don't think it's them. I'm not sure.
I think they created them, though. No, or they're producers on all of them. I think that's what it's.
Well, they didn't create Invincible.
Well,
they are producers, sure. I don't think so. I don't think that's what it's referencing. It could be. I don't know why they would put that at the end of the trailer, because actually some of the writers on this, Andy Samberg is an example, wrote an episode. If you look through the writers list, it's a crazy list. Awkwafina wrote an episode as well. So they didn't even write, I think Seth Rogen wrote one episode as well. I don't think that's what they're referencing. I think there's something else there, but could be. I didn't figure that. I know that they produced both series, but that's not what I kind of figured. Because I think that Eric Kripke is really
he's the showrunner for The Boys, yeah.
Head honcho for The Boys. So I imagine that he would be more influential than Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, but I'm not sure exactly what reins they took with that series.
Well, yeah, they're the two that I know that are connected to those other two shows, so I just assumed. But yeah, either way, I think this is like super cool. I'm very excited for this. It's interesting too, because they're actually releasing all the episodes at once on Amazon Prime, which they don't regularly do. They've been releasing most of their shows week to week. They do I think they do like where they drop the first 3 episodes, and then every week they release another one, kind of like what HBO Max did for Peacemaker. I think they did that with The Boys season 2 and stuff like that.
After Party. Yeah.
Oh, After Party as well, didn't that? So it's interesting. I'm curious, like, why all these, I guess that's like 3 separate, streaming services, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Prime Video, and HBO Max, that are doing this, like, sort of drop 3 episodes at once and then release the rest week to week. It must do something well for their numbers. I'm curious about that. Just enough to get you in.
I think they're testing it out. I think it's something that's an interesting test. I feel like I hope they take more experiments. As I kind of started at the top of this episode, It would be nice for them to take more, do more experiments, drop 1 episode every 3 days, or do something else than just do the classic 1 episode a week. Because I think, honestly, the fact that After Party was that way on Apple TV Plus, the fact that they launched 3 episodes at once pulled me in quite a bit. Like, I was very excited to watch more after watching those 3.
Yeah. Well, Arcane did something interesting on Netflix too, where they released like 3 episodes a week for like 3 weeks. So it was like 3 episodes for their 9-episode arc.
Yeah, Netflix taking doing some experiments. Although, if I recall correctly, that show was kind of split up into chapters like that as well, which is cool.
Yeah, it was like 3 arcs. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Super cool, man.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm curious about the show. I wasn't necessarily sold on it, but this cast list is crazy, so we'll see. Mm-hmm. Okay, number 3. As publication deadline reports, Viacom CBS streaming service Paramount Plus is reuniting Mr. Show with Bob and David actors Bob Odenkirk and David Cross for a mockumentary-style comedy TV series called Guru Nation. The new series is meant to follow 2 competing cult leaders duking it out in an attempt to bolster the ranks of their respective cult organizations. Borat 2 director Jason Woliner has been hired on to direct the new series. Adrian, what do you make of this?
Oh, Simon. Well, I make that this is cool. I quite like this as an idea. I think this concept is quite genius, and just the idea of bringing Bob Odenkirk and David Cross back together is fantastic. I watched some of Mr. Show with Bob and David, and there was also that sketch comedy show that they released on Netflix as well. Was it Mr. Show with Bob and David? Because I remember they had a different one on Netflix.
This sketch comedy. Where did you see Mr. Show and Bob and David? Maybe
I'm mixing those up. But
well, there's.
I feel like I watched.
I think it's the show with Bob. No, sorry, no. The show on Netflix was with Bob and David. They got rid of Mr. Show because they couldn't use that for licensing reasons. Because Mr. Show with Bob and David was on HBO.
Interesting,
if I recall correctly.
I see.
So, like, you might have seen it on Crave. Did you watch like the older? Maybe 1990s show.
I don't recall off the top of my head, but I think this is a good little it's a good get. It's nice to see these guys coming back together. It's funny we were actually just talking about these two when you were talking about Murderville. So yeah, I don't know. I think this looks interesting. I like what Paramount Plus is kind of doing. Like they're coming up with some creative stuff on top of like bringing in big franchises like Halo as an example, or using like their Star Trek stuff. They're not, I guess, veering away from like some more creative and unique style of shows like this. So I'm definitely interested. It's cool that they're bringing in the Borat 2 director as well, Jason Woliner. Both you and I really love Borat 2, and it's I'm curious what he can do with this show as well. Borat 2 also being a mockumentary style movie. Yeah. What do you think about this?
I just love these 2 guys. So anything that they kind of do, especially together, I feel like I'm on board in some way. I'm curious to see what happens. Then again, I didn't see with Bob and David. I didn't watch it. I haven't watched as many sketch comedy things that you have, but Bob Odenkirk is just amazing in my opinion. So I feel like any drama or especially a scripted comedy that they're both involved in, I think I'm definitely down for, but we'll see. It's just, I can't promise what I'm going to watch because I feel like everything I look to watch, it just gets piled onto an inevitably impossibly long list. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure, but I'm curious. I'm very curious. This is a cool idea. Like these 2 guys, like going head to head in this, like as cult leaders, like with competing cults. I think that's pretty neat. And it can be definitely a great platform for ridiculous hijinks. So it'd be cool. I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, Bob Odenkirk is like he is genuinely phenomenal. Like, and he also has like a lot of range. Like he does these like ridiculous roles and like hilarious characters as well, while still like maintaining some like more serious and like badass roles. Like I think Nobody was that big one that came out last year. I was like, man, this guy's fucking awesome. He can do so much. Like on top of like, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and he's in like one of the like a sketch on like I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson and stuff like that too. And yeah, he's fantastic. I really love Bob Odenkirk. And then David Cross obviously is absolutely hilarious too.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Now on to the montage, the sequence of our show in which I briefly present the week's smaller news stories as Adrian delivers a brisk verdict. Number 1. As teased by actor Doug Jones on social media, Disney's Hocus Pocus sequel film, Hocus Pocus 2, has finished production and will launch on Disney Plus in October of 2022.
Oh, okay. I never really loved Hocus Pocus. I'm sorry. I know Ken's going to hate me for this, but never loved it. It made me uncomfortable.
Number 2. As Variety reports, The King's Speech actor Jeffrey Rush has just been cast as legendary comedian Groucho Marx in the upcoming biopic film Raised Eyebrows from the Messenger director Oren Moverman.
Ah, Groucho Marx, the brother to Karl Marx, that socialist.
Nope, not related. No relation. Number 3, as reported by Variety, streaming service Paramount Plus has renewed the Jeremy Renner starring crime drama Mayor of Kingstown for a 2nd season, military drama SEAL Team for a 6th season, and American football drama The Game for a 2nd season.
I haven't watched any of these shows.
Number 4, as publication Deadline reports, Apple's We Crashed directors John Requa and Glenn Ficarra have signed on to direct the Paramount Plus 8-episode spy series with 24-actor Kiefer Sutherland called Rabbit Hole.
Wow. Did you ever watch 24?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like 24.
Number 5. According to Deadline, 50 Shades of Grey actor Dakota Johnson has been cast as Madame Web in Sony's ongoing live-action Spider-Man universe. The Madame Web film is set to be directed by Jessica Jones director S.J. Clarkson.
Whoa, I don't know much about Madame Web at all, but cool beans. Cool beans.
From my understanding, she's like an old woman who's got psychic powers.
Huh.
So I think they might be going in a different direction. Maybe I'm mistaken. I thought that's what she was. Anyway, number 6. As noted by publication The Hollywood Reporter, Paramount has greenlit the 6th installment for a horror film franchise Scream after the success of the latest 2021 Scream movie, which has garnered over $100 million worldwide.
Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah. Didn't this movie come out in 2022? Pretty sure it came out in 2022. January 2022.
Oh, my mistake, of course. 2022. Sorry. I'm still living in 2020. Number 7. As followed by The Hollywood Reporter, HBO has renewed gritty teen drama Euphoria for a 3rd season.
Oh, good. I still gotta watch season 2. I think they're 5 episodes, 6 episodes deep.
Number 8. As Variety reports, Dark Knight Rises actor Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Kick-Ass actor Chloe Grace Moretz have each been cast in a film following the events of the Jonestown Massacre, a movie which is to be called White Knight.
Oh, cool beans. I like Joe Gordon-Levitt and Chloe Grace Moretz. Who's playing the dude, the cultist dude? We talked about that back in the day. Isn't it, I want to say Leonardo DiCaprio, or am I imagining that?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is playing Jim Jones.
Didn't we talk about this Jonestown Massacre movie and then someone was cast in that?
I think there was another movie or TV series with some other actor playing Jim Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, but in this iteration, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Chloe Grace Moretz, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is playing Jim Jones.
Interesting. Okay.
I thought it might have been Leo DiCaprio, so you might have been right on that. Number 9. As The Hollywood Reporter notes, the Kevin Costner starring modern Western TV series Yellowstone has been renewed for a 5th season by Paramount.
That's good.
Number 10. As Deadline has reported, Apple TV Plus has announced that the Gary Oldman starring spy TV series Slow Horses and the Cynthia Erivo, Nicole Kidman, and Alison Brie starring anthology series Roar will debut on April 1st, 2022 and April 15th, 2022, respectively.
Everyone but John Hamm.
Yeah. And that concludes the montage.
Blah, blah, boo, bah. So Deadline back in November 8th, 2021. Leonardo DiCaprio in final talks to star and produce Jim Jones at MGM. Scott Rosenberg writing.
It's called Jim Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So a different thing.
It's like that Steve Jobs movie situation where they had Michael Fassbender and then someone else plays Steve Jobs.
Ashton Kutcher. There's lots of these that have happened over the years. Like even with The Prestige, The Illusionist came out around the exact same time. It didn't make a lot of sense. That was actually even weirder because they were so close together. The Illusionist is often confused for Christopher Nolan's The Prestige, even though The Prestige is arguably like a 3-dimensional film and The Illusionist is 2-dimensional. It's weird. Not that The Illusionist is a bad movie, but if you're going to compare the two, relatively speaking, it's interesting that they came out around the same time. This happens kind of often in Hollywood. When you're making a movie about one thing, they just seem to double up and make a TV series at the same time or whatnot, like the Tiger King situation, which is, by the way, still coming out, by the way.
Yeah, the one with...
There's a Tiger King series with...
what's her name?
From SNL. What's her name?
Goddamn. I forget her name. She's funny, though.
Kate McKinnon.
Yeah.
It's funny, I typed in... I was like, how do I find her name really quickly? I typed in SNL cast, and her name was first. It which is awesome. I was like, thank God that worked so easily. Yeah, I think she's been on the cast for a long time, but she's pretty fantastic. So I'm curious to see how that show plays out. But the one with Nick Cage was canceled. Nicolas Cage, who was supposed to play the Tiger King, said something along the lines of, no, we're not going to do this. It's way past the time when this was in the kind of the zeitgeist. So there's no point in making this series anymore. And on the other hand, they're still making the Kate McKinnon version. I think that's a Peacock that's making the Kate McKinnon Tiger King series.
That seems right. Yeah.
Where she plays Carol Baskin. But anyway, the other one was canceled. So yeah. Fascinating indeed. Thank you for looking that up about Jim Jones. I appreciate you.
No worries, man. No worries.
We're more in sync now. The beginning of the episode was a little bit rough, I must say. Adrian, what do you got for me?
I got new releases for you, Simon.
Oh! Alrighty.
Yeah.
And?
This is for the week of February the 7th to February the 13th. That's a Monday to a Sunday, as per you, Simon. And the first movie that's coming out this week is coming out on Tuesday, February the 8th. And it's a movie called Child of Kemiari Month. I think I butchered that Kemiari part. Seems right, though. But this is a Netflix original movie about a young girl who learns that she must travel across Japan shortly after losing her mother.
Oh.
This is an anime movie. It looks actually pretty neat. I might actually watch this. Oh, my God.
What?
Simon, I watched another movie this week.
Okay. Belle.
Yeah. I watched Belle.
How'd you miss that?
Because I was so into Scream. It was a Scream-a-thon week, Simon. But I watched Belle.
I watched a lot this week, then. Thanks for the invite to go see Belle.
I don't want to watch it with you.
I was kind of waiting for Jimmy's kind of notification telling me that Adrian had something to say to me, but
I'm sorry, Simon.
Alas, it's that kind of week between you and I guess.
We're just very disconnected. We're very different people, you know?
Oof.
We're on different paths.
Are you breaking up with me?
I am. We're done.
What?
We're done.
You're done with this podcast?
You smell. I can smell you from my house, Simon.
That's impossible.
My house being inside your walls.
No, You don't belong here and you don't pay rent, so get the shit out of my walls or you're a liar. One of those.
But yeah, I watched Belle. I watched it with someone, and we watched it together.
With someone?
Yeah. And we
you watched it together. You watched it with someone and you watched it together. That's incredible.
And it's a really good movie. I quite liked it. Maybe I'm being a little bit too hyper. It's a good movie. I don't think it's really good. It's a little bit disconnected. There's a
hyperbolic.
Yeah, because I was being like, oh, it's so good, but it's really just good.
Yeah. No, I was just making fun of the fact that you said half a word there.
What?
Slow it down. It's okay. You're like
hyperbolic.
Yeah, you didn't say the full word.
How should I say? What did I say? Didn't I say hyperbolic?
You'll listen to it on the repeat. You'll get it.
Okay, I will.
Anyways, you're being too hyperbolic. It wasn't as good as you think it was going to be?
It's good. Yeah, I think it's a good movie. I think visually it's stunning. And it's pretty much about this young girl. Funnily enough, the reason why this rung a bell is because it's another animated movie. Ooh, bell, no pun intended. It's because it's. I
didn't know if you did that on purpose. I was like, that was too smooth. I feel like you didn't.
I didn't do it on purpose. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
But it's also about another young girl that loses her mother at a young age.
Yeah.
And she grows up and she's in high school or whatever. And there's this new app that gets launched that's called something like that. I forget what it's called. But essentially you put on this weird body synchronizer thing and you put it in your ears and downloads your body and kind of uploads it to this virtual world. And you can kind of just design how you want to be, what your true inner self is. Oh. And, Belle is, forget her actual name, but she calls herself Belle, and she becomes this sensation in this virtual world as a wonderful singer and everything like that. And people just fall in love with her, but she doesn't want anyone to find out who she actually is and wants to keep it kind of disconnected. And what this movie is, or does, is that it's very clearly inspired by, Disney movies actually, and just done in kind of an animated form. The music in the movie is very reminiscent to almost Disney music, but it's very, very high quality, like most Disney music is. And again,
it's in Japanese.
No. I watched it in English. There was the English dub that was playing nearby.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you're saying it's reminiscent of animated Disney movies, I assume.
Correct. Yes, correct. Animated Disney movies. And honestly,
an Encanto or Frozen.
Yeah, most notably, it's this most similar to Beauty and the Beast. And I think
no way.
choice of calling the main character Belle is very
deliberate.
Yeah, deliberate. And there's a character called the Beast that she meets in like this realm, and he's universally hated by everyone, and people are trying to find out who he is, but he's actually like a good soul on the inside, sort of thing like that, and she's like trying to like save him essentially, and that's kind of the premise of the movie. But there's a lot of like plot threads going on in the movie, and there's a lot of like leaps to conclusions, which I think is where the movie kind of falters a bit. There's the person I was watching it with, there's multiple times where we were just like, wait, what? Like, how did we get here? And like the story, it just like felt very rushed, and like they skip, time without kind of explaining it to the viewer. And you just have to assume relationships between people without it being, kind of deliberately showed or said. But all in all, I think the movie itself is really great. It's like quite pretty. Again, the story is like heartfelt, and I like, the direction it goes, and there's some surprises in it and stuff like that. But all in all, I don't think it's as great as I wanted it to be. But it is rated incredibly well on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's like above a 90%. And the English dub is very good. Like it's fantastic. And again, they even remake the songs in English. And again, really, really great music. But yeah, something I would recommend. It's a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes through the tomato meter, and 95% audience score. So
cool.
Again, universally liked. But yeah, and that's the other thing I watched at the new releases segment.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now on to the news. A sequence of our show in which
you silly goose, Simon. We're at the end. We already went through the news.
Okay, Adrian, let's stop fake laughing here, and let's move on to the next movie that's coming out this week, which is Into the Wind, which is a Netflix movie that was announced by Netflix. It's a Polish romantic drama in which people in Poland fall in love.
Simon, no, you ruined it. It's not the next movie.
Oh, sorry, coming out on Thursday the 10th.
No, on Wednesday the 9th. There's a movie called The Privilege.
I scrolled too far down the page.
You silly son of a gun. I ain't stepping on your turf with the news, bro. You're stepping on my turf, just throwing it out the window.
Look, man, you're a child of Calamari month for 10 minutes there. So I'm just trying to move things along. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm going to watch that, I think. I'm going to watch that movie. But anyways, The Privilege is coming out on Netflix on Wednesday the 9th of February. And it's a German teen horror movie. Ooh. I'm super into horror again. I love horror movies. I'm just like these schlocky horror flicks.
Yeah.
Next up is a movie coming out on Thursday the 10th, and it's called Into the Wind, which is a Polish romantic drama.
I just said it.
That's coming out on
I just
Netflix.
Announced this.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
It's a Polish romantic drama.
Polish.
Yeah, the English language is a weird language, though, for sure.
Yeah. It is a weird language. Let's think of other words that don't make sense. Like baloney. Why is it spelled bologna? You know what I'm saying?
Actually, no, wait, hold on. Polish is 2 L's. You didn't spell it wrong, too. No, you just mispronounced it after writing it down.
Okay.
And hearing me say it.
Yeah. I did hear you say it.
Yeah, and you still got it wrong.
Bologna.
That's the weirdest word in the English language, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably not.
What do you think it is?
Probably not. There's probably weirder, stranger words. I don't know, Adrian. What's the next movie coming out?
Kimi. Kimi. I don't know if it's Kimi or Kimi.
In all caps.
It's all caps. All caps, Simon.
So it's Kimi.
Kimi.
Yeah, you got to say it like that because it's all caps.
Kimi. That's me doing Timmy from South Park, but switching it with Kimi.
Oh, I see.
Anyways, Kimi is confirmed by the most reliable source on the internet, m.theheavynumbers.com, and the trailer, Simon. This is an HBO Max original movie. And I wrote here, Crave, ? Who knows? This is another Steven Soderbergh directed film. This is about everything being recorded constantly. It reminds me of The Circle, and The Circle is a bad movie.
I always forget about The Circle, and then I was looking at like Tom Hanks's IMDb movie history, and I saw that he was in The Circle again. I was like, he was in The Circle. I forgot about that. Yeah. What a terrible movie.
That's a fucking awful. That might be one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
I really don't like Rise of Skywalker though. Yeah. So yeah, man, is that extreme to say that Rise of Skywalker is my least favorite movie of
all time
that I've seen in my life?
No.
Well, that I've seen. Is that extreme?
No. I don't think so. It's a bad movie.
I really don't like Suicide Squad. I don't like The Circle for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
I don't know if the Circle might be the worst thing I've ever watched. Because like I think back to Suicide Squad, which is a bad movie, really bad movie. But
specifically, we're talking about David Ayer's Suicide Squad, just to be clear.
There are a couple of things where I'm like, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. There's some good characters. I thought that, honestly, I thought that Will Smith did a great job. I thought that Margot Robbie did a great job. I don't know.
I thought like Jai Courtney did a great job.
Batman? I thought that...
Oh, that scene's fucking sick, dude. That is actually a good scene. Yeah.
There's some great Batfleck moments. Ben Affleck Batman moments for sure. Anyways, what other movies are coming out this week, Adrian? What other movies are coming out this week?
They're all coming out on Friday, the 11th of February, Simon. And the first one is a movie called And Plus, the film. This is a Netflix original Dutch movie about a 20-year-old queer woman just trying to figure her life out, dude.
And she creates a streaming service called And Plus.
Maybe. Actually, that might be possible.
Yeah.
Because I'm confused why it had to be called And Plus, the film. Is this based on a TV show, you think?
Yeah, it's And Plus : the film. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. We're just not aware.
I don't know, man. And
Netflix is really cool in its international nature lately. Like it's been very, very cool in the way that it's even like kind of pushing audiences that may, originate in the US to kind of watch something like Squid Game. It's cool like that became so big because of the way that they marketed it across the world. So it's pretty neat. So maybe that's something we're just not aware of, a Dutch TV series that's becoming a film.
Yeah, And Plus, it is a TV series. There's been 2 seasons thus far.
Oh, cool. That's neat.
Yeah.
Sweet. What's the next movie coming out, Adrian?
A movie called Big Bug. And it's a Netflix original French sci-fi movie set in 2045 where robots attempt to stage a coup.
Ooh.
Yeah. Coup. Another weird word. It's spelled coup-up.
Yeah. COUP. It's true.
Coup-up.
And the next movie?
Love and Leashes, Simon. This is a Netflix original Korean flick based on a webtoon about 2 coworkers that enter a contractual relationship based solely on consensual BDSM-style sex.
Wow.
It's like me and you. Love Tactics is coming up next.
I don't know.
This is a Netflix original Turkish movie about 2 people that don't believe in love who make a bet with each other to try to make the other person fall in love with them.
Through BDSM style sex.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Which we do not take part in, by the way, together. You and me? No, we do not do that. Just to be clear to the audience out there. I just want to set the record straight.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Wink.
Who are you winking at? I'm not winking.
Tall Girl 2.
I'm serious.
It's who I'm winking at, Simon. This is a Netflix original sequel to Tall Girl
1,
the movie, about a girl who is presumably tall.
Presumably. That's all you got, though.
Yeah.
That's all you know about it.
That's all I know about it.
Alrighty. What's the next movie coming out?
The Sky is Everywhere. It's
true. Damn.
It is. It is true, man. You look up, boom, there's a sky. Not in your room, because I'm going to guess you got ceilings in there. Actually, I know you got ceilings because I'm inside your walls, dude. But yeah.
Oh, me. Oh, just me. But you don't know what the audience has. Maybe they don't have ceilings.
Maybe you don't. Maybe you're sitting out on your deck. Maybe you're just walking outside. Maybe you don't own a home. Maybe you're homeless.
Maybe you're in a car.
Maybe you're in a car.
Maybe a roof, not a ceiling. You wouldn't say, I'm in my car and it's got a ceiling. Look up at the ceiling.
It's true. I wonder why.
They say as they look at the sunroof.
Yeah. Because you call it the roof of your car.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you could still say it's the ceiling of your car. But
yeah, who does that, though?
No one.
It'd be weird.
Yeah.
For some reason. Because the English language.
Mm-hmm.
Because the English language. A weird language. That's what it is.
It is indeed.
That's why.
But anyways, The Sky is Everywhere is a Apple TV Plus movie, Simon, about a teen mourning the loss of her sister and finding her first love in the process.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sounds sad. I Want You Back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. We're making up. You're no longer want to be broken up anymore. Like you said earlier in the podcast.
Yeah.
You want me back, Simon.
Yeah.
Simon Eady. Me.
Exactly, man. I want you back.
We're in it. We're in it to win it, man. This is episode 84. We're going up to 1,084.
That's so many episodes. That's over 1,000 episodes.
On the road to 1,084. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, 6 seasons in a movie.
Six seasons in a movie. Is that our 6 seasons in a movie on the road to 1,084?
Exactly.
6 seasons in a movie.
On the road to 1,084. I feel like that rolls off the tongue way better than 6 seasons in a movie, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we know what we're talking about.
Definitely.
Take that, Dan Harmon.
Yeah. Fuck you, man. I'm just kidding. I really love Dan Harmon.
Wow. That's very aggressive, Adrian. What is the next movie coming out? Come on, bro.
I Want You Back is the next movie coming out, and this is an Amazon Prime Video movie.
Oh, you didn't want me back?
No, I did want you back. I just decided to say it at the same time.
It was a coincidence. It was a coincidence.
Total coincidence, dude. Total coincidence.
Okay, no problem.
And this is about 2 people that meet right after they're both dumped.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Next up is a movie called Super Cool, Simon.
Oh, that was feel like a segue for you, but you kind of missed it. I was like, okay. And you're like, Super Cool is the next movie coming out.
Yeah.
And it's confirmed by m.the.numbers.com.
No, the most reliable source on the internet, m.the-numbers.com, Simon. And the Apple TV app.
Yeah, you say that very well. I've never actually tried to say that. That was a disaster.
Yeah, try it. Go for it.
m.the-numbers.com.
No,
and Apple TV Plus. Oh, sorry. The most important source on the internet. Sorry, the most reliable source on the internet. m.the-numbers.com. You say hyphen, I say dash. The English language is a weird thing.
It's a weird one, this English language, I'm telling you. Anyways, it's also confirmed by Apple TV. This is a video-on-demand movie about 2 teens, and one of the teens wishes he looks like a model, and then his wish comes true, and then antics occur.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems dumb.
Super cool,
dude. Catch the Fair one is up next, Simon. This is confirmed by the most reliable source on the internet, m.the-numbers.com, and the Apple TV application. This is a video-on-demand movie, once again, about a boxer going ballistic in search of her missing sister. Wild stuff, Simon. Just like Cosmic Dawn. This is also confirmed by the most reliable source on the internet, m.the-numbers.com, and the Apple TV app. This is another video-on-demand movie about a woman who tries to uncover the secrets of a cult she joined after she witnessed her mother get abducted by aliens as a child.
What? Okay.
You heard it here first.
It seems like 2 very different things in this one sentence.
Yeah, she joined a cult after her mother got abducted by an aliens, and then she was just like, I'm done with this cult. I'm going to uncover the secrets of this cult.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
I'm glad you do.
Thank you for that.
Yo, dude, you're so very welcome. Anyways, the next movie coming up is Indemnity. This is confirmed by the most reliable source on the internet, m.the-numbers.com, and the Apple TV app. This is a video-on-demand movie, and it's about an ex-firefighter. Just an ex-fighter, I wrote. But I think it was a firefighter that fights for his life.
An ex-fighter fights for his life after being falsely accused of killing his wife. It could be an ex-fighter, though. Those are very different things. A firefighter and a fighter are not the same.
Yeah.
So
I also realized I wrote a rhyme there, a little poem. An ex-fighter fights for his life after being falsely accused of killing his wife. It's like a fucking Dr. Seuss book right there.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty good.
Yeah. It is a firefighter. He is a firefighter. I just checked it out.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. Anyways, God, Dr. Seuss, another guy
who understood this wacky English language.
It's so wacky.
Another movie coming out is
Death on the Nile, which is confirmed by Cineplex, the application. It's coming out to theaters, Simon, and this stars actual Cannibal Armie Hammer.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's not in anything after this, I don't think.
I don't think so, man.
That might be it for a little while. We'll see.
It's wild that he got canceled for being a cannibal.
It's so minor.
Yeah.
No, we don't know what happened. Alleged cannibal Armie Hammer.
Yeah. I don't think he actually ate anyone. Wasn't the thing that he just like essentially threatened his like ex-girlfriends and like said that he was going to eat them or something like that?
I think the allegations are more like sexual assault. That seems to be the reason any of this is happening. I'm pretty sure. The cannibalism part was weird, but it kind of made it popular on the internet, and then more came out. But we'll see. Again, alleged, I suppose. I don't know what's going to end up happening with that, but yeah.
Well, I hope he didn't like sexually assault anyone. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's one thing being a cannibal, but it's a totally separate thing being a sexual assaulter. I think that's worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next movie?
Marry Me, Simon.
No, it's too soon. You broke up with me. You wanted to get back together. Too soon.
Well, Simon, guess what? I wasn't even saying this to you. This is the next movie on the list.
What?
I wasn't asking you to marry me. It's way too soon, dude. This is confirmed by Cineplex. This is another movie coming to theaters. And this is a movie that stars Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez.
Looks good.
And it's this classic rom-com movie about an unlikely relationship between two people that are just so different.
Yeah.
To me, doesn't look good.
I thought it looked pretty good. When my girlfriend and I watched the trailer for this, we were both like, or I didn't really say it as much as she did, but she was like, I want to see this. I'm like, yeah, it looks cute enough that I potentially want to see it. But if it's like a negative 15% on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't think I'm down for it. But it did look cute. Didn't it look cute? Come on.
No.
It's like a bit of the goofy story. He's holding up a sign that says "Marry me," and she's like, I will marry you. Jennifer Lopez says to Owen Wilson, who's holding up the sign. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. It's cute.
Looks so good, dude. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm a sucker for romance, but I don't know. Like, these like wacky rom-com movies kind of like this, I don't know. I don't love them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's some that I kind of do. Like, I guess, like Jerry Maguire. I like that movie.
You really like Notting Hill.
Notting Hill, that was a great one.
Yeah, it is a good one.
I really liked Bridget Jones' Diary.
I never saw that one, actually.
That was a fun one. My mom loves those movies. I watched that first one with her, I think.
Cool.
Like her and I think my sister watched it and stuff. Good movie.
Sweet.
Let's think of other rom-com movies.
Blacklight, a movie coming to Cineplex and theaters, and it's a rom-com movie with Liam Neeson kicking ass.
Yeah. They're going to need more men is the tagline. Title of my sex tape.
That's so ridiculous.
It kind of works out.
It does.
You know, this being a rom-com movie, Liam Neeson kicking ass.
It's not a rom-com.
They're going to need more men.
In reality, it's not a rom-com, but I thought we could segue into this Blacklight film. It's also called Blacklight.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of gross.
They're going to need more men, man. There's semen all over the walls here. They're using the black light.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Whoa, you made a penis pun.
I know.
Man, this English language.
I'm a genius. I'm a comedic genius.
You are, dude. Honestly, the English language.
I know. the English language is... that's all we have to say. We don't have to.
Yeah, dude, the English language.
End it there. The English language, man.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Crazy. Anyway, Adrian, I think that's it for our podcast. That's it for the regular scheduled programming. But I mean, you might have more to say. Maybe you watched another 5 movies that you want to get into. Oh yeah, I watched this in theaters yesterday, like you did with Belle.
No, I didn't watch anything in theaters yesterday.
Okay,
I watched that on Tuesday. Belle.
Oh, okay. I was giving an example. Did you not tell by the tone of my voice that I wasn't, saying that for real?
Oh, no, I can't tell. I don't understand.
Some sarcasm. Sarcasm was being used.
Jinx human relationship. 2 kids.
No, I don't owe you anything. But are you going to say anything about the end of this episode, or do you have anything to say to the audience?
Simon.
I asked that question, hoping for an answer.
Finally, we're done with this episode. Let me wrap it up for you. You can find us on all your streaming services that stream podcasts, all right, gang, listeners? You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Google Podcasts. You can find us on the YouTube. You can find us on the Spotify. You can find us on the iHeart Radio. You can find us on the TuneIn radios.
Yeah.
You can find us anywhere the English language is available.
Oxford Dictionary. Check.
We're there. We're in the Oxford Dictionary, page 78.
Page 78.
You open it to there. We just start playing.
Actually, page 1084.
Whoa.
Because we're on the road.
Yeah.
To 1084.
That makes sense. On the road to 1084. Was that the tagline? I already forgot it.
Well, Adrian, I appreciate you joining me once again. Jimmy in the booth, thank you very much. You're a good man. And thank you to Kenneth Salbauer for writing into us as usual. And that's it. So thank you for listening to the 84th episode of Split Focus, a Film and TV podcast. My name is Simon Eady, and this is Adrian Pinter signing off.
It is I, Adrian Pinter. I'm signing off. And just real quick, you know who doesn't need a black light? Batman and Batman v Superman, because that guy ain't fucking. He ain't fucking. Actually, he kind of does need a black light for the blood when he's doing his detective stuff, presumably. Anyways, Batman v Superman, good movie. There's a little bit of a stretch there. And Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. Good movie. That movie rocks.
No.
And no. I like all 5 Scream movies. They're fantastic. I really like that franchise. I'm a Scream fan. Scream. Good movie. All of them. Yeah. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. Great movie. Take care. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Take